What is up, my infamous lifers? Sam Dog, the infamous 253, coming at you guys with Dallas Stewart. Dallas, say what's up, man?
What's going on, YouTube?
Yep, and we are here now to do the NFL Week 3 game picks, the weekly picks. Last week, me and Dallas had a split, and I gotta say, even though for that, though, too, I mean, this last week for Week 2 was probably our best week ever in the history of ever since we started doing game picks. Dallas, you went 13-3. You got the Bengals-Browns game wrong. You got the Vikings-Colts game wrong, and the Monday night game between the Raiders and the Saints wrong, which obviously I got that wrong too. The games I got wrong, I only got 2 wrong. I got the Colts-Vikings game wrong and the Raiders-Saints wrong. I went 14-2, and Dallas went 13-3. The D for Dallas right there, you see in the S for the first letter of my name, 14-2. So that's a new personal best for picks in the week. We freaking killed it last week, Dallas.
We did.
Yeah, so because we went 10-6 the first week, but man, hell of a week last week, man. But now we can toss this aside, and now we can get ready for Week 3. First off, Thursday Night Football. We got a battle in Florida. We got the Miami Dolphins from Dade County going up to Duval County to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Little Dade County versus Duval County. The Dolphins coming off of a close loss to the Buffalo Bills, which I cannot believe how close that game was. I mean, they got the touchdown, but obviously they couldn't convert on the onside kick, and the Bills were able to just take a knee on. Jaguars, man, hella close game. Almost came back against the Titans until that costly interception happened with Gardner Minshew. But man, the Jaguars, they don't look like a tanking team, man. They do not look like a tanking team. And Gardner Minshew, I mean, like we've been saying, you can build a team around Gardner Minshew, man, down in Jacksonville. I think they're going to definitely do that because they don't look like a team that's tanking. But for this one, though, too, I mean, Dolphins are 0-2. They're desperate and all that stuff, too. I mean, Jaguars are definitely trying to keep pace in their division. But I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars to get the 2-1. I like the Jags better in this matchup, though, too. I think it'll be a good game, though, too, with the Dolphins being desperate for a win. But I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars to get the 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going to take Jacksonville to get to 2-1. They just seem like they're a better team, and maybe they're going to be better than a lot of people thought, and maybe they'll be able to stay in the wild card race most of the year, if not the whole year.
Yeah, and
so I'm going to go with Jacksonville.
Yeah, all right. And it's crazy, man, with last week, man. Definitely prayers for speedy recoveries to all the players that got injured, because last week was a crazy week with these season-ending injuries for most of these players and some other players that will be likely to come back. It's just been a crazy week, so definitely prayers, obviously. We lost Bruce Irvin and Marquise Blair for the year, Seahawks-wise. 49ers losing Nick Bosa, Solomon Thomas. The Giants losing Saquon Barkley for the year, man. Just devastating. Bunch of crazy, devastating injuries, man. And then, of course, Cortland Sutton for Denver got injured. He's out for the year with a torn ACL. Drew Lock should be out for a little while, though, but he'll probably be back later in the season with whatever he tweaked in his body. But, yeah, just crappy week for injuries, you know?
Sure was.
Yeah, up next, we got the 49ers staying in MetLife Stadium, taking on the New York Giants. The New York Giants just signed running back Devontae Freeman to replace Saquon Barkley for the year at running back. So now in that backfield, you got Barkley and you got Deion Jones, and I think the other running back is Galladay over there. And the 49ers, we all know who they lost this year. I mean, and they say Jimmy Garoppolo is going to try and play. They should be getting George Kittle back this week, but with Jimmy Garoppolo's high ankle sprain, I mean, would you really want a chance making it worse for Jimmy Garoppolo in this game? I mean, granted, we know how bad the Giants are, and I mean, they played a really bad Jets team last week, and the Giants coming off a loss in Chicago to the Chicago Bears. Like we said, 49ers last week still killing the New York Jets with the cost of those injuries. But I really think if they were smart, they would still rest Garoppolo this game, and I would start Nick Mullins. I think Nick Mullins could still get the job done against the Giants like he did the second half against the Jets. So I'm going to take the 49ers to get the win here against the New York Giants on this one?
Yeah, I'm going to take San Francisco despite all the major injuries. I think they could still beat them with Nick Mullins.
Yeah.
But the 49ers definitely need this game if they want to stay keep pace in the NFC West. But I'm going to, despite all the injuries, I'm still going to take the Niners.
Yeah, me too. I mean, but I really think that they got to be extra careful with Garoppolo's high ankle sprain, though, too. And plus, Richard Sherman's still out, but the biggest blow was them losing Nick Bosa for the year and Solomon Thomas. And then even Raheem Mostert got hurt in that game last week, too. He'll miss some time. I mean, but...
Yeah, and it's Wayne Gallman. That's one of the running backs for the Giants.
But yep, now Devontae Freeman joins the New York Giants today, too, on a friend...
Yeah, the Giants are just putrid. I still think the Giants will lose even to a banged-up 49ers team.
Yeah. All right, up next we got the Washington football team going to Cleveland to take on the Cleveland Browns. Washington got pistol whipped by DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray and the Cardinals last week, and the Browns just did work in a 35-30 victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. Baker Mayfield, the running game of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt were just doing work. Odell Beckham Jr. had a nice touchdown catch in that Thursday night game last week too. It was a fun game. I mean, Joe Burrow still made it close and interesting though too. I mean, still bringing them back and all too. It was a really fun game, and I mean, Washington, they showed some poise on their. I mean, let's be real, that was the Cardinals were gonna kill them anyway. I mean, sure, they got Chase Young, they drafted some guys for their defense. Who knows how long it'll take for them to be good again? But I'm gonna take the Cleveland Browns to just. I expect Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt to continue to go off on them, and obviously Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry to have big games against this Washington football team. I'm gonna take the Cleveland Browns to get a win against the Washington football team.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Cleveland to get 2 in a row and get above 500. But don't get used to it, Cleveland fans. I still don't think you're gonna be very good this year.
Neither do I, man. Neither do I. All right, up next, the other Ohio team going to Philadelphia, the Bengals and the Eagles in Philadelphia. The Eagles just got smacked by the Los Angeles Rams, and the Bengals obviously coming off of that Thursday night loss to the Browns that we just talked about, which you picked the Bengals and I picked the Browns in that one, which was our first split of the year. Joe Burrow, I mean, he's showing his poise, man. And the Eagles, man, Carson Wentz making a lot of mistakes. I think he threw did he throw 2 interceptions last week against the Los Angeles Rams?
I think he might have.
Yeah. I mean, and I even see people picking, I was seeing some picks, I see people picking Cincinnati as an upset pick in this game to upset the Philadelphia Eagles and Joe Burrow to get his first win of this season, But, I mean, this could be a very interesting game with Cincinnati and Eagles. It's a 10 a.m. slate, so it'll definitely be interesting to watch and that before coming up on our game later on. I mean, I'm leaning towards the Philadelphia Eagles in this one, though. I think the Eagles get their first win of the season against the Bengals, but if the Bengals upset them, I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati pulls an upset, though. But I'm still going to side on the Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Bengals.
Yeah, I'll probably have to go with Philadelphia. This is a tough one, but
yeah, I'm going. You and me are both going Philly on this one, right?
Yeah, we're going Philadelphia, and they can still keep pace in the absolutely abysmal NFC East.
Yeah, which Washington is still surprisingly in first place, even after taking their first loss of the season to the Arizona Cardinals because they have the divisional win over the Eagles. Yep. All right. Up next, we got the surprisingly 2-0 Las Vegas Raiders going to Foxborough to take on the Patriots. The Raiders with a big upset win over Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara and the New Orleans Saints. The Saints were really missing Michael Thompson there, and like we said, they were shooting themselves in the foot heavy with penalties last night in that game. New England Patriots, we all know what happened. You saw the live stream. Cam Newton and all that stuff too. Cam Superman Newton at the end of the game trying to make that run on that play. But Delano Hill and LJ Kryptonite Collier with the big stop, packing the kryptonite. kryptonite, Superman's weakness, and we've been Cam Newton's kryptonite since Russell Wilson came in the league in 2012. From all the matches we have, the Seahawks are now 7-2 all-time against Cam Newton. So safe to say that we pretty much have had Cam Newton's number for most of his career. So that was a hell of a win by our Seahawks, man. Hell of a stop with stopping Cam, Superman, Newton, and LJ Kryptonite Collier coming in with the big stop. After Lano Hill blew up the fullback on that play, which allowed LJ to get the stop. That was a hell of a play. But, man, Cam Newton, even in that game, he showed he could be a comeback player of the year, you know? I mean, he was waiting it out. I mean, after losing Quandre Diggs, they were getting big plays to Julian Edelman and N'Keal Harry and Bird and Myers. I mean, Cam, didn't he go 30-something for 40 on his passes in that game? Like 31 of 40 on there?
He threw for almost 400. I think it was 397.
Yeah, and Julian Edelman had 179 receiving yards in that game.
Yeah,
Edelman had a hell of a game, and Newton had the 2 touchdowns. I mean, they were trying the same thing earlier, which we had it read out perfectly, hence we got the stuff. But regardless of it, I know the Raiders 2-0, surprisingly. They won their home opener, their Vegas debut in Allegiant Stadium, which was a hell of a victory for them. I mean, their defense came out, played great, got that turnover, and then, even though they had a turnover themselves, which the guy that fumbled it, Jalen Richard, redeemed himself on that touchdown run. But I think even with the momentum the Raiders got with that, sorry, Raiders fans, but I think you're due for a letdown. I'm going to take Cam Newton and the New England Patriots to get a bounce-back win at home in Foxborough. And by the way, interesting fact, this will be the first time John Gruden will face Bill Belichick since the infamous Tuck Rule game.
Wow, that long ago?
Yeah, first time Gruden will get to face Belichick again since the infamous Tuck Rule game.
He didn't even face him when he was in Tampa.
I don't think he faced him in Tampa, but I'm taking the New England Patriots to bounce back and get to 2-1, and keep pace in the AFC East race. I'm taking the Patriots.
Yeah, I probably.
Dallas?
Hey, if you want to.
Hold on, Dallas got something going on there. He'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, I'll probably have to take the Patriots to get a home win and get to 2-1. I think Oakland gets their first loss.
And shout out to Bob.
Oakland, Las Vegas.
Las Vegas gets their first loss. But yeah, shout out to Bobby Butcher's Block. He's live right now doing picks with Goose on doing his Week 3 game picks. We were just chatting over there. I came into his stream, so I want to give a shout out to my man Butcher's Block. And I told him that obviously I think that his team that he would bounce back this week against the Raiders. So I just want to give a quick shout out to him really quick. And now let's get back to it. Up next, we got the Chicago Bears going to Mercedes-Benz Stadium to take on the Atlanta Falcons. The Bears coming off of a close win at home against the New York Giants. And the Falcons, well, man, I cannot believe that choke job they pulled in Dallas, man. I mean, they really should have freaking killed him, but man, it was just a crazy-ass comeback by the Cowboys, man. It's like, we can't sleep. We already know we can't sleep on Dallas, but man, what the hell happened, Atlanta? And Dan Quinn clearly, I don't know if they should have fired Dan Quinn after that one, man. I mean, how many more games they're going to give Dan Quinn until they fire him and all, too, but, oh, man, what do you think on that one, Dallas? Because we watched it happen on Red Zone.
That was an absolute collapse.
Yeah, me and you were
reminiscent of Super Bowl 51.
Definitely very reminiscent, man. You and me were both watching it on the Red Zone. That onside kick by Zerline, oh my God, you got to dive on the ball on that one. That was just insane.
I don't know what they were thinking.
I don't know what they were thinking either, but I know they're going to be very pissed and they're furious on this one too. The Bears are still 2-0, but I'll be honest with you. I think the Falcons are going to take their frustrations over last week out on the Chicago Bears at home. I expect Julio to go off, have a big game. Todd Gurley needs to have a big game along with Calvin Ridley and I forgot the name of the other receiver. Was it Dugas or something? I forgot. Fucking never mind. I forgot. It began with a D. I know that, but then the defense needs to they need to get turnovers. Obviously, they forced like 5 fumbles, recovering like 3 of them in the first quarter, and just against Dallas and. man, still lost that game. I mean, you win the turnover battle, you usually win games, but I got the Falcons basically taking their taking their frustration out on the Bears to get their first win of the year. I'm taking Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm going to take Atlanta to also take out their frustration on Chicago, but I'm losing faith in Atlanta.
Me too.
I thought this is the year they were going to bounce back. I mean, this is a make or break year for Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
And the Bears haven't really impressed me, even though they're 2-0. They don't look like legitimate contenders.
I mean, look at who they beat. I mean, obviously the first one was an amazing comeback, and then obviously they were facing the Giants, obviously. So.
I mean, their defense has looked good, but I mean, they just haven't impressed me so far.
No,
they might be the worst 2-0 team in the league right now.
Probably. All right, up next we got the LA Rams going to Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills. The Rams took care of business against the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Bills close game against the freaking Miami Dolphins. And man, I'll tell you what, this looks like it'd be an interesting game. I mean, Rams secondary picked off Carson Wentz twice. I mean, they were making life hell for the Philadelphia Eagles, even though the Eagles did manage to get 19. But man, they just, I mean, Eagles just couldn't get anything going. Buffalo Bills, I mean, I'm surprised how close their matchup was with Miami. Really close battle. Ended up winning that game 31-28. Man, I think this could be another close one too, but I hope that it could happen though too. But it's like, it's a tough one to pick. Who are you gonna? You want to go first on this one, Dallas? Yeah. All right. So who are you gonna pick first on this one, Dallas? You gonna go first on this one you want to go first on this one for Bills versus Rams?
Yeah, I'll probably have to take the Bills to get to 3-0 and drop
hang the Rams.
Hang the Rams their first loss. It should be a great game, but I think the Bills get it done, and
barely even with facing Aaron Donald.
But I like the Bills in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills with you on this one. I think the Bills can barely get it done, depending on what kind of game. They got it. Obviously, Josh Allen needs to have a big game. Stephon Diggs needs to go off. Singletary, the running back, and Cole Beasley and John Brown need to go off on the receiving game. And, of course, you still got to look out for Jalen Ramsey and that Rams secondary. We know that Rams secondary is good, though. So, yeah, put in the circle for the Bills on this one. We lost Dallas on the thing earlier, so I'm cutting out the part of the first one earlier. I'm gonna be merging these videos together on iMovie. So yeah, but basically we got the Bills over the Rams, hoping that it happens because it would help us out in the NFC West wise though. But it'll be interesting though. Up next we got the Houston Texans going to Heinz Field to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers coming off of a big win against the Denver Broncos, with obviously Drew Lock going down in that game, and the Texans obviously getting pistol whipped by the Baltimore Ravens, obviously too. So, man, this is going to be a really good game though too. Obviously, we know Pittsburgh got that good defense, an aging Ben Roethlisberger, and then Houston, obviously, I mean, they're still feeling the DeAndre Hopkins trade. It's still staining them too. I mean. And I've seen some picks earlier. I've seen people taking Houston to beat Pittsburgh and all too. I mean, what do you think on this one? I mean, you want to go first on this one too, Dallas?
This is a tough one because the Steelers have not really impressed me that much. I mean, they've played two bad teams. Again, they're another 2-0 team. How good are they? But Houston's had a brutal start. Playing the Chiefs and then the Ravens.
Back-to-back weeks.
Back-to-back. Houston's desperate.
Yeah.
I'm going with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh too, strictly because their defense is just playing lights out right now. I'm taking the Steelers as well, man, only because of the freaking defense. I mean, Bud Dupree, T.J. Watt.
Say Houston in an upset?
Some people are picking Houston in that one too.
If you lose this game, I mean, your season is starting to slip away from you already.
McNair, if you lose this game, you might as well fire Bill O'Brien now. That's all I got.
Then I think they're at Minnesota. the following week.
Oh yeah, I mean,
that could be 2 winless teams.
That could be. And speaking of Minnesota, they're next. Up next, we got the Tennessee Titans going to U.S. Bank Stadium to take on the Minnesota Vikings. The Titans coming off of back-to-back close wins. This time they come off of a win with a great interception at the end against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Minnesota Vikings, man, what is up with Minnesota's defense? You bring in Yannick Ngakoue and you're still getting ran all over and passed on? You let old Phillip Rivers pass and run and freaking Jonathan Taylor run all over you guys in Indianapolis, man. What is up with Minnesota, man, and your defense, man? 0-2, man. I mean, I think, I'll be honest with you, I think Derrick Henry's about to go off in this game. Derrick Henry's going to finally see the end zone for the first time this season and get a few touchdowns of this one. I'm taking the Tennessee Titans to knock the Vikings to 0-3. I'm taking the Titans.
Yeah, I'm taking the Titans to get to 3-0 and to drop the Vikings to 0-3. Vikings early disappointment early in this young season.
Yes,
but I'm taking the Titans. The Vikings defenses looked
abysmal.
They look horrible. And they're feeling the effects of no Stephon Diggs, I believe, on their offense.
I think, I'll be honest with you, when Kevin Stefanski left to take the head coaching job in Cleveland, you can tell it's affecting Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was better when Kevin Stefanski was the Vikings offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and then trading Stephon Diggs it's turning out to be a bad move.
It really is for the frickin' Vikings, man. I mean, considering even though they do have the draft stock, but since Kevin Stefanski's departure, man, Kirk Cousins has not looked the same since last year, man. He's looking like his old Washington Redskins self now without Kevin Stefanski as his OC. But man,
it looks like the Packers should win the North again.
Most likely. Up next, we got the Carolina Panthers coming off of a loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, going to SoFi Stadium to take on the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers, very close game, but ended up losing in overtime. I was surprised at how close that game. I was surprised that game even went to overtime against the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. And Harrison Butker made those 3 kicks for the Chiefs, man. The Chargers, man, Tyrod Taylor chest pains, and they freaking... We got to see Justin Herbert's debut, and I'll tell you what, even in that loss and that rookie mistake he made, when he could have ran for the first down and he instead throws the interception, Justin Herbert impressed me. And I don't get why if the Chargers, I'll tell you what, I think, something for them, Anthony Lynn says that Tyrod Taylor is better, then he's going to put him back in as starter. But I'll tell you what, I would consider Anthony Lynn an idiot if he puts Tyrod Taylor back in, because Justin Herbert looked way, way, way better in that system. Justin Herbert was killing it, man. But who knows? You think Anthony Lynn could possibly be saying that to make the Panthers, to fake the Panthers out to prepare them, to make them prepare for Tyrod Taylor and just throw Justin Herbert out there as a starter unexpectedly so they wouldn't be ready for Justin Herbert?
Maybe.
Could this be a curveball move to make him think, but he's going to still start Justin Herbert? I tell you what, Chargers need to keep Justin Herbert as their starting quarterback. And, I mean, this should be a good game, too. I mean, Panthers are desperate for a win, too. Christian McCaffrey got hurt. So I think that's a big loss for Carolina. I don't think McCaffrey plays this game from what I'm hearing, though, too. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the LA Chargers to get their first win at SoFi Stadium against the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to take the Chargers, but I would love to see them, make Justin Herbert their full-time starter now.
Yeah, so would I. I think that would be the better move for Anthony Lynn, as he could be another coach that
is on the hot seat.
Could be on the hot seat after the success of 2 years ago when they went 12-4.
Yeah, who are you taking? You taking Chargers?
I'm taking the Chargers. So, wait, we must be already on the afternoon slate already.
Yeah, we are on the afternoon slate.
Yeah, and the Panthers could be in for a very long year. 1 month without McCaffrey.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah, I think he's out a month.
Wow.
4 to 6 weeks.
Wow, that sucks, man. McCaffrey's a hell of a running back.
So they're probably going to finish last in the NFC South.
Again?
Yeah.
All right. Up next, we got the New York Jets, Jets, just end the season. Going to Indianapolis, taking on the Indianapolis Colts, who had a big win against the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, Phillip Rivers was balling. Despite a turnover or two that he had, but the Colts got some pretty big takeaways, and the Colts that was a surprising win. I mean, for me, thinking Minnesota was going to bounce back, but man, Minnesota is just awful in that one too. But the Jets, they're more abysmal than the freaking Vikings, man. Let's just be real, man. They really that bad? I think the Jets need to fire Adam Gase. I was watching Gangrene David's video earlier saying how he wants the Jets to pursue Eric Bieniemy to be the Jets head coach at the end of the season. Going into the 2021 season. I think Adam Gase may get fired earlier than that, man. I'm taking the Colts just to freaking offload on them. I'm taking Indianapolis to get another win.
Yeah, I'm taking Indianapolis to get their second in a row and get to 2-1. The Jets are absolutely just a train wreck. They look like they could get the number 1 pick in the draft this year.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they look absolutely abysmal.
Yep. Whew. All right. Up next, our game. We got the Dallas Cowboys coming to Seattle and CenturyLink Field to take on our Seattle Seahawks. Cowboys coming off of that big ass comeback win against the Atlanta Falcons at home, and we basically brought the kryptonite and stuffed Cam Newton at the 1 in the backfield with Lano Hill blowing up the fullback and LJ Kryptonite Collier with the stop on Superman Cam Newton. Big stop for us. But it sucks with our injuries, losing Bruce Irvin and freaking Marquise Blair for the year. I know we just brought up Lyndon Stevens up from the practice squad, but could we be in for another move? I think we need to make another move to try to replace Bruce Irvin on our pass rush, but do we bring up someone from the practice squad, or do we get one of the best free agents available, like maybe Clay Matthews or whoever else may be out there? It'll be interesting. I'll let them make the decision on that. But I'll tell you what, Russell Wilson, 5 touchdown passes. The second quarterback since 2009 to throw 5 touchdowns against a Bill Belichick defense. That is insane, man. The last person to throw 5 touchdowns against a Bill Belichick defense was Drew Brees on Monday Night Football in 2009 when they just blew out the Patriots in their Super Bowl 44 run. Isn't that crazy, Dallas?
Yeah.
That's freaking insane. And obviously, we know about Zeke, we know about Dak, and we know about DeMarcus Lawrence and Aldon Smith, who hasn't, played in the game since he was with the Raiders last time, which was like 5 years and all that stuff too. But Aldon Smith is doing good on that Cowboys defense and that too. Still can't sleep on him, even though they're still going to be without Leighton Vander Esch, and I don't know if they're going to be without Sean Lee still, but if anything like that, we got to take advantage of the injuries, and if anything, if Mike McCarthy makes mistakes, and if we force turnovers, we just got to do what Atlanta failed to do, and that's keeping our foot on the pedal and just not letting them cash in on anything. But we got to force turnovers, and we got to, just keep on letting Russ cook and try to protect them better in the course from the pass rush of Aldon Smith and DeMarcus Lawrence. I wouldn't be surprised if we still took a sack or two, though, but if we just keep on cooking with DK Metcalf, hitting receivers like Metcalf and Lockett, and even Freddie Swain getting in on the action too, and David Moore. I know we just put Philip Dorsett on the IR, so he'll be out for a few weeks. With the bye week coming up, I think after we play the Dolphins. But, I think it's going to be another close game, to be honest. High-scoring affair, unless Mike McCarthy makes a costly mistake and we stop him on it and make him pay for it, though, too. But I'm confident in my team, though. I think it'll be a good matchup against Dallas, though. But I'm going to take the Seahawks I'm going to take us to get a win at home and make it 3 in a row and go 3-0. But still not sleeping on the Cowboys because we know they're good, too. But I'm taking the Seahawks.
Yeah, this is tough. This is a game that I'm a little bit worried about, to be honest, considering how bad our defense played at times last week.
Yeah, but
actually pretty much the whole game except for that final stop.
Yeah, but
that interception by Dunbar.
Yeah.
But I think
if it's anything at most, we've got to win with our offense.
In another Seahawks win in a shootout.
Shootout, yeah. A lot of people are saying that this game is looking like it could be a shootout though too. But our defense needs to play a lot better, and hopefully, Quandre Diggs, plays smart and doesn't get ejected this time around. But we definitely took.
He also is winning the turnover battle. But how about getting off the field on third down?
Yeah.
New England was 7 for 12.
Yeah, and
58%. You got to get off the field.
You got to get off the field, and you got to freaking avoid fucking penalties, man. The fucking penalties were killing us.
The penalties were piling up.
Yeah.
Nine total. 7 in the first half. You can't have false starts at home. There's no crowd anyway.
Exactly, no crowd anyway.
That's coaching right there.
Yeah. I'm glad we got the win, but hopefully we can make it 3 in a row.
There's a lot of things we got to clean up, though.
But we know Dallas is good, though. So we can't sleep on them. I know some.
Yeah, it's also a rematch of the 2018 wild card, which I would like to get revenge for.
Yeah, we all would. But I'll tell you what, though. People. I've seen people label this game for us early in the season in their record predictions as a loss. But anything could happen.
Yeah, Brendan Nelson said it was a loss.
Yeah, Brent.
I'd like to be wrong.
Yeah, we would like to be wrong, but if it happens, it happens. We're just gonna go on. But obviously, you and me feeling confident about this one. Hopefully, obviously, even if predictions, even if they pick certain games, if we lose a certain game or two, we usually hope to be wrong on every one of them. But if it happens, it happens. We just go on, just go with it, and just try to keep pace and try to, stay close in the division race.
Yep.
All right. Up next, but other than that, we got Seahawks winning in a shootout in a close battle again, just like we had last week with New England. Up next, we got Detroit Lions going to the desert to take on the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals obviously just really much, it was no contest against Washington, and the Lions, it was no contest for Green Bay, and Green Bay was just destroying them.
Detroit had an early lead, but very early. And it didn't last very long.
Let's be real, that lead wasn't going to last for Detroit. I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm taking Arizona to get to 3-0. It's also a rematch of last year's Week 1 game in Arizona, where it ended in, I believe it was a 27-27 tie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Lions, they're just as putrid, I think, as the Jets are. They could be... Them and the Jets and maybe the Giants could be battling for the number 1 pick in the draft.
For Trevor Lawrence.
Matt Patricia, it's time for you to hit the road.
Yeah. Up next, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to Mile High to take on the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos today just signed Blake Bortles, obviously now, but obviously we all know Jeff Driscoll is going to be the starter. And Tom Brady and the Buccaneers coming off of a big home win against the Carolina Panthers. Captain Tom and his swashbuckling Pirates of Tampa Bay getting it done against the Carolina Panthers at home. I'm taking the Tampa Bay and Tom Brady has struggled in Denver. In his career, back with the Patriots and all that stuff too. But I think knowing how with them not having Drew Lock, it's still going to come back to bite them and all that stuff too. Plus, the Broncos lost Cortland Sutton for the year with a torn ACL. I'm taking the Buccaneers to get to 2-1. I'm taking Tampa Bay to beat the Denver Broncos. I'm taking the Bucs.
Yeah, I'm taking Tampa as well. Denver falls to 0-3. They're in for another long year, it looks like.
Yeah. They are in for another long year. But, this one's definitely going to be a no contest. But I'd be surprised if it wasn't. But obviously, I think Tampa Bay gets a convincing win against Denver.
Yep, Denver's actually been competitive the first 2 games. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that too.
Tennessee and Pittsburgh.
Big time. Jeff Driscoll almost let him back until he got stopped on that 4th down.
Yeah, that would have been a huge upset.
Would have been big time. Up next, we got the Green Bay Packers going to the Superdome to take on the Saints. The Saints coming off of that loss to the Las Vegas Raiders in the first game in Allegiant Stadium. The Packers took care of business at home. Saints are really missing Michael Thomas, man. They really need Michael Thomas back. I don't know when is Michael Thomas expected to be back?
I'm not sure, but they need him for this game.
Oh, big time. And the Saints are really feeling the effect of no Michael Thomas. The Packers are just rolling, man. They are rolling big time. I mean, it's an interesting game. This game could go either way. But you could tell the Saints are really missing Michael Thomas in that one. I'm going to take, surprisingly, on that one. It's usually rare that I go against Breeze and that on this one, but this is a week where I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers to get the 3-0 on Sunday Night Football against the New Orleans Saints. This is going to be a good game, though, but in the end, I think the Saints are really feeling the effect of it. I'm going to actually take the Green Bay Packers, but this one could go either way.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna side with you on that and take Green Bay to get to 3-0. They've put up 85 points the first two games, and if Thomas isn't playing again, I think that's gonna affect the Saints' offense. The Saints, they had a bad game. There's no doubt about it. I expect them to play a lot better, but
Yeah.
I think the Packers are a better team right now.
All right. Last but not least, the big one, the Monday Night Football game in Baltimore. Chiefs and Ravens, Mahomes versus Lamar, Part 3. I mean, these guys have been battling. The last two defending MVPs, but now the defending Super Bowl MVP takes on the reigning MVP, league MVP, Lamar Jackson. Oh, man, this has the makings of it. I mean, the Ravens' defense is looking good. The Ravens are just blown out opponents, but the Chiefs, they looked rusty in that game against the Chargers, even though they ultimately won it in the end. I mean, I don't think there's any crowd. There's going to be no crowd fans in Baltimore, though, too. But, man, other than that, though, regardless of it, though, too, I think this might be the game where Lamar finally gets Patrick Mahomes. This might be the game where Lamar finally gets one on him, which you and me have been talking about. I mean, but I think this is going to be a great Monday night game. I'm going to take, for the first time on this one, I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens to get a home win against the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football. This game's going to be interesting. It could go either way, but with the way the Ravens defense is playing, I got to take the Baltimore Ravens in this one.
Oh, yeah, they flip a coin. This is a coin flip game. It could go either way. But I'm going with the Ravens because their defenses look better, and they've looked like a better team through the first two games. You're right, Kansas City looked real rusty.
They did.
They easily could have lost that game to the Chargers. What we thought was going to be the AFC Championship game last year, but I guess the Titans had other plans. Very well, more than likely, could be the AFC Championship game this year.
Maybe, but man, I'll tell you what though, man, it's just gonna be that's got the making to be a Monday Night Football classic, and that's our game picks. So this is who we got. No split this time. We got the Jaguars and the Dolphins. We got the Jaguars over the Dolphins in the Florida battle with Duval versus Dade County. We got the 49ers over the Giants. Browns over Washington, Eagles over Bengals, Patriots over Raiders, Falcons over Bears, Bills over Rams, Steelers over Texans, Titans over Vikings, Chargers over Panthers, Colts over Jets, Seahawks over Cowboys, Cardinals over Lions, Buccaneers over the Broncos, Packers over Saints, and Ravens over Chiefs. And that is our Week 3 picks. Let's see how we do this week. Thank you all for
it's
checking.
It's going to be hard to top last week.
Oh yeah, drop your picks in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, And I appreciate all you guys coming to support, especially when me and Dallas when we do our freaking game picks, and gonna be planning the game preview for Week 3, Seahawks versus Cowboys with Brendan Nelson again soon. So we're gonna be on that soon. So stay tuned for that. But other than that, Dallas, thank you once again, man. Let's see how we do this time because we had a hell of a week last week.
Yep, no problem. It looks like we were able to solve the connection problem on the phone, and we're able to get all our picks in for Week 3. I got to merge this thing, obviously, with iMovie, but thank you all for tuning in. Sam Dog, the infamous 253, Dallas Stewart signing out. If you ain't with it, you ain't infamous. Let's hope to get this win against the Cowboys, and as always, go Seahawks.